Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 8 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at whether we will see another major character as a zombie. So, of course, we haven't seen a major character as a walker or as a zombie in a long time. We have seen a couple in Season 7 and in the first half of Season 8. However, they didn't have the same level of impact. So, if we kind of look back at some of the most recent ones we've seen, we can see that, we did have that one with Eric recently in the first half of Season 8, and the whole close connection that Aaron and Eric had made that scene very emotional. However, because they didn't really show Eric up front and close and personal, and because the audience didn't really have that close connection to Eric, we didn't necessarily feel the impact. And I feel like that impact that we got from what we got was because of the connection we had with Aaron. So that, in my opinion, does not really qualify as one. But going back to Season 7, the biggest and most recent one with Sasha coming out of the coffin as a walker. So even then, in my opinion, it didn't really have the same impact or effect that it needed to have. Because for comic fans at least, we knew that it was coming. So it was one of those moments where we knew it was coming, it was just a matter of when. So the impact that it could have had was definitely not as great as it could have been. Then, going further back a little bit in Season 7, we have Spencer. So of course, we did have Spencer coming back as a walker briefly before he was put down by Rick. But even then, obviously for Spencer, he was definitely not the type of character that we had that close connection to. And Rick putting him down didn't have the same sort of impact. The only impact it had was to see how Rick is breaking down inside. That was the only kind of impact that Spencer coming back as a walker had. For us to see the inner struggle of Rick. Seeing the guy that he hated most likely coming back as a walker. So as you can see, if we take a look at some of the most recent ones, we haven't really got one of those very impactful major characters coming back as a walker that would, in my opinion, turn the show around a little bit and maybe give it some sort of interesting feel and maybe give us that kind of throwback that we would need in order for us to feel close to Walking Dead again and make this show feel as dark, as gritty, as interesting or emotional as it used to be. So I definitely think that it would be very cool and it would definitely help in order to help the show in terms of rating and everything for us to see a major character as a walker. So I'm just going to name some of the most emotional or impactful major characters coming back as walkers that we've seen before throughout the seasons in the show. One that I could definitely think of right off the bat is Merle. Merle was definitely one of those characters where we had that kind of connection to. We loved to hate him. The audience or the fans had the same sort of connection or mentality towards Merle as they do with Negan. So I definitely feel like Merle's death was emotional and impactful in a way that we saw a very close character get killed and come back as a walker, and to just see them in that phase or in that stage definitely gave us that emotional feeling that we needed to have. And of course the close connection that Daryl and Merle had, and that very, very cool, very, very epic and interesting scene between Merle and Daryl at that time definitely helped there. And another case that I can think of is Shane and him coming back as a walker before being put down by Carl. That was definitely one of those very important, interesting, gritty, dark, and emotional moments from the series. It was definitely one of those moments that, even at this point, fans go back to and watch and refer to. So I think that in order for ratings to improve and for Walking Dead to go back to its roots and go back to being gritty, dark, and emotional, it needs to bring back this piece of storytelling that they used to have, that they used to do very well. So I definitely think that one is due, maybe in Season 8's second half, maybe later on, but I definitely think that necessary for us to see something like this again. we can see, obviously, we have Carl, who's just about to die, so we have an opportunity to do that with Carl. However, they might not want to go that route because, in my opinion, his death in the first place or him getting bit was underwhelming. So they might want to do something more interesting and something better in terms of actually killing him off, rather than just bringing him back as a walker. So I do see why they wouldn't want to go with bringing him back as a walker, but I definitely think that it would be very interesting to see, and it might be that emotional kind of impact that we need, and what would essentially help the show in terms of improving its ratings and things like that. But I want to know everybody's opinions about this. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.